welcome back to the channel, Just Average Guy. So I didn't record some stuff that we did, so I'm gonna go do a quick tour, a little walk around on what we did. Me and my dad, he didn't want to be on camera, so we just hung out here for a few days and did some stuff here in the garage for a couple days. Messed with the old Ram here. Messed with the grill here. I'll take you through that. Took the doors off. We were gonna mess with the cab. So as you can see, my blue cab is gone. That's unfortunately, we're gonna use that for parts. But the cab's gone. The blue one is. Gonna use that for parts. We're gonna actually try to fix this red one. We stripped the front end apart on that. Took the fenders off of it, so we can get this engine. We're gonna pull the cab off here. To eventually we're gonna get the cab off. We're gonna get it down to the frame so we can sandblast that. We got this here that we messed with the grill because this is out of an 84 radiator support. The 79 was rusty, the 77 was rusty, so we're messing with that. We have this fender we're going to fix today. I'm going to try to do that. I've already done one. We got to fix these inner fenders, which I'm going to try to do that today. Let's see here. Got that one fixed. We got a new piece welded in there. Got the holes drilled out for it because that's where the step sides go. We're going to have to figure out this nonsense here. I don't know yet. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do as far as the rust there. Whether I'm just going to cut panels out and put patches in there, or if I'm going to try to do that whole section. I haven't figured it out yet. But yeah, so that's where we're at. We got this box side here. This one is in pretty good shape. We're going to just clean this one up. Not a whole lot to do on that one. That's the driver's side. This passenger side red one here that came off the truck. This one we got to do a little fixing. We're going to use the blue one to fix this. Could I take and just put a patch here? Probably. But there's rust building in between the seams here, and it's starting to cause it to spread. So I'm going to drill out these spot welds, try to take this whole section off, take it off the blue one, and put it on this one. So that's where we're at. First is so that's just a little bit of a tour. The last video that I posted, we fixed the parts washer. So we got that fixed. That's working now. Got some leftover parts over here for off the blue one. I'm going to be using that hood. So that's another thing that we got to figure out, because the hood latches on the 77, the 79, and this 84 radiator support all three of them are different. So my guess is I'm going to probably take and put hood pins in it, because why not? Because Mopar did it on Cudas and Challengers and Chargers. People put hood pins on those, and they're pretty cool. So I'm going to see about doing that on this. Once we get some of these other smaller things done, that's when I'm going to pull this over onto the lift, and we're going to get the cab off of it. And then we'll pull the engine and transmission out of it, get the engine up on the engine stand. So when I get ready to do that, we'll be able to have the engine on the engine stand to tear it down and start building that up. I also have a engine stand with an axle cradle here, because we're going to be modifying the rear axle in this. We're going to I'm probably going to put a limited slip differential in it, or just make it completely posi. I don't know yet. I haven't gotten there. Things are always changing in my head, so But yeah, let's get this table cleaned off. We'll get these, get this one fender up here. We'll get that one cleaned up and fixed. And yeah, so hang out. I also forgot the other thing that we're going to try to do today, that I would like to do, is I want to make new pieces for the bed, because these are getting pretty rough. So I went and bought some steel, which I have in the back of the truck, and we're going to try to fabricate and make my own of those. So, because they don't make them anymore. You know, that's the problem with some of this older stuff, is they don't make things anymore. So what do? You got to improvise. You got to make your own stuff, make it work. Let me show you guys here what I'm thinking and going to be doing. So yeah, so I got some of this square tubing. I can pretty much make 2 of those out of this. It's probably overkill for, you know, what I'm doing, but it's this is going to be nice. So we'll use the plasma cutter on that, try to zip that down. Any comments, leave them down below. Anything that you have suggestions on, again, leave them in the comments. I'm open. I like to try to figure this stuff out, and any ideas that come along. I had to go to Harbor Freight again. I like Harbor Freight. Get some new gloves, because, you know, it's go through these things like crazy sometimes. But yeah, any comments, any ideas, shoot them in the comments. The other thing that was the other thing I was going to say, I want to try to get that done today too. Is it going to get all done today? No. And when you see this video, you're going to be like, well, why is it only 30 minutes long? Because you're going to see a lot of this going, thinking and trying to figure something out. And so I edited all that out. I don't think you guys would want to just sit here for 7 hours while I do this video, or 6 hours or whatever, and watch me think and mull stuff over. So but anyway, again, we're gonna get going on this. And so another thing I wanted to go over, and again, going back to that statement, if you guys want to see this stuff unedited and just watch me running around like a chicken with my head cut off, that's great. I'll be more than happy to do that. But oh, shout out I2I Automotive. If any of you that watch my videos are in New York, by my hometown, and you know where Lowville, New York is, go ahead, feel free to see my buddy Eric over at I2I Auto. He does fabrication and welding, and way better than me, but he's a really good friend of mine, awesome technician, probably way better than me, and that's just being super nice, because I think he's a very great technician. But yeah, they do fabrication, so any of you people that watch this that are in New York and know where that is, go check them out. Anything that you guys need, he probably can take care of it. But yeah, so anyway, I got some new tools here. The Milwaukee, I love Milwaukee. Like I was telling you guys before, Milwaukee is one of my go-tos as far as tools go, because I have a bunch of batteries already, and they offer pretty decent warranty. And I gotta say, like with Harbor Freight, they've come quite a long way with their Hercules brand, which they're offering the same kind of warranty on their tool as Milwaukee as far as 5 years go. But I had a set of air die grinders like these ones, that after, oh gosh, almost 20 years. I bought them when I was 18, and when I was first got into the automotive business, working at a small muffler brake shop when I was 18, I bought them from Advanced Auto back in 2000. Oh yeah, it was 20 years ago, 2006, and they finally just quit working. So I went to Harbor Freight to check these out. They're McGraw straight die grinder and right angle die grinder. To give these things a shot to see what they're all about, see if they're any good. Milwaukee. So I have a Milwaukee straight cutoff wheel. The battery, using it for doing some of this stuff, it doesn't last very long. If you need to cut something off and it's kind of quick and easy, and you're out where you don't have power or air supply, then great, it works great for that. But some of this stuff that I'm doing doesn't work very good. I don't like it. It chews up the batteries real quick, especially if you're trying to cut, some panel or pieces out of the cab or whatever. So I went and got their McGraw set from Harbor Freight. They're relatively inexpensive. I think they're like $20-30 a piece. So I'm going to try to see how these are. So we'll do a small review on those. But I also needed some new air chisels for my air hammer, so we'll give those a shot too. Those are from Harbor Freight. I have a Mac air hammer that I've had for quite a few years, so we'll see how well they do. But yeah, I'm going to put these together. I'll do. We're going to probably be using these here soon, so I'll let you know how I like them once we get into it. All right, so as you can see, here's my old stuff. I'm pretty beat up. Again, they should look like that, most of them, but they're beat up. So I'm using some Permatex thread sealant on these. I hate the thread tape sometimes. It depends on what I'm using, but for the most part, this should work just fine. Maybe if I can get it to come out. That will do you. There, those are ready to use. Just gotta throw some oil in them, and we'll get to that. So let's clean off this bench and get to it. Yeah, they don't make these anymore, so I gotta fix this one because I want to keep the quad headlights. I just like the way it looks better than the round single headlights. So we'll put that over here. Keep it safe. Okay. Now this side, this one, is not too terrible. Not as bad. I think what I'm going to do with this one, no, we're going to cut it out. I was kind of like, we can save that. No, we're just going to cut it out. And put a new piece in there. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. So now, need to get, I think this 18 gauge is going to be it's too thick for that. I have some 20 gauge. What is this? I don't even know what size this is. What are you doing? That's too thin. That same stuff. Now we gotta get this big sheet out of here, out of that cardboard. We got 20 gauge, but it's a 4x4 sheet. So we gotta cut that up and get some of that out of there. Ta-da, metal. So what I'm going to do with this is I think I'm going to cut it in half with a plasma cutter. Since it is a 4x4 sheet, I'll keep a couple feet of it, and I'll cut a couple smaller pieces. That way I can use my metal brake if I need to. And I'm not just taking sections out. But anyway, we'll get to that now. to the cut, I hear. Come over here. And there is the plate we're going to be putting into here. Another Harbor Freight tool. Again, not a body guy, but I figure I better have some body tools. There. I think that's pretty dang good. For somebody who doesn't do body work. I mean, it's going to be in a spot that nobody's going to see anyway. You know, it's one of those things. It doesn't have to be perfect. But I got to just take a little bit more off of there, and I think we'll be good to go. And I wonder if you guys are wondering. I wonder if you are wondering, how long have you actually been doing this? So currently like 2.5 hours. That's where I'm at. I shorten it down a little bit for things that you might not care about, but you guys are probably wondering, well, those holes ain't right. You're right, they're not. That's why we use a carbide bit. All right, good old brake clean. Clean rag. Wipe that down. And now we give that a little coat for the anti-rust, Rust-Oleum. Rust reformer. Now that that piece is done, no, it's not. This isn't the final product. This is just to help keep it from rusting, you know, the bare metal, until I get to a point to get it all sanded down, get it ready for primer. That'll help. You know, it converts rust to paintable surface, so it'll help keep that from rusting and end up looking like this crap. So, metal bin. So there's that one. There's two of those done now. So the next thing we could tackle is probably the inner fenders. Get the pieces. That should be relatively easy. It's just welding on some pretty well flat piece of metal and then bending it a little bit. It's not even close to being involved as that. So yeah, there's two of them done. Be like I was never here. Hopefully, that's the goal. Hopefully it'll look good from, you know, across the parking lot. Like, damn, that's a nice looking truck. Until they get up on it, and then they're like, oh, who botched this? All right. The next order of business. Front inner fenders. These do not have to be super pretty at all, in my opinion, because they're going to be on the inside. They just need to get welded on there, get it cleaned up. They're going to be underneath the truck. They're going to be blasted with dirt and everything else. So, I'll bring you over here. to this. Like I said, I gotta probably put 2 inches on there. Do a little bend on each end. Nothing spectacular on that. I'm gonna do that on both of these. This one maybe a little bit more than just a couple inches, but this one's pretty rough. That one might be a little bit more. But all in all, I'll probably run a strip of metal. Probably run it 4 inches. Yeah, run 4-inch piece. Let's cut a 4-inch piece of metal. Come back over to the metal brake. That's why I hang on to this stuff. Well, I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty dang close. Put that right in there and weld her in. Call it a day. Got the small little lip on it and everything. Bam. I just need to make a second one of these. Put that one right here. But that one's shorter. That's pretty close. Just gotta give it a little bend at the end. I like doing that stuff, making it try to look like it was meant to be there. All right, come back here. Come back over this way. I got everything going on here. I mean, that's fairly close. Yeah, it's pretty good for me. Now we just have to weld this in here. Now on this particular thing, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to overlap it, because I did make it a little bit bigger, just to make it a little stronger. Just a little bit, don't need a lot. Alright, so I didn't realize the battery on the camera died while I was doing this, but as you can see, we got that piece welded on there for the fender. So we'll continue. We're gonna just clean that one up a little bit. This is gonna be underneath the truck, so I don't expect it to be super clean. It's gonna be one of those things. I gotta drill some holes in here to get it mounted underneath the truck, but other than that, I think it went pretty well. This is the passenger side, and this goes towards the front underneath the radiator support. So once we get more of that done, we can adjust this and fix it. So I'm going to get this cleaned up now with the die grinder and continue on our adventure. Good enough for me. Looks great. Grand. I like it. I like it. Again, this is going to be under the truck. It's not going to be seen. All right. We're going to take a break and get something to eat. I will be back with you guys right after this. All right, guys, continuation. Battery died again, so we're on to day 2. I managed to get both those fenders, front inner fenders, done. Let me show you that. So I got the new pieces on the front inner fenders. I got one of these tubes cut up for the cross rails, for the sills there, for the bed. We're going to cut one of these up next to get that done, so we can get the 2 centers done. If one of my other projects that I'll probably put on here is rewiring for a 220 outlet. So plasma cutter, not good to use on a 110 20 amp circuit trying to cut that. It's not good. For thin stuff it works great, no problem doing the sheet metal and stuff like that, but something that thick, definitely gonna have to put a 50 amp circuit breaker in here with 220. So I'm gonna run a couple outlets for that, put one over here by my workbench, and then probably put one over by the lift. So if I'm working on a vehicle, I got that over there to use the welder, and then I can use the 220 on this. But yeah, so we're gonna get back to getting those cross rails made and get those measured up, and we're going to be using the grinder with a cutoff wheel on this next section. I didn't like how it wasn't super clean with the plasma, just because it wasn't able to handle the load. So yeah, so we'll get to that. I was going to use the Sawzall, but this metal's just too thick and it would just take way too long to do that. So I'm going to try this. I did try it with the other piece, and I made it a ½ an inch in there, and I was like over it. So cut this down first. Get it over to the bandsaw. I'll cut this first. Get it over to the bandsaw. Again, this is a Harbor Freight Central machinery. I have no complaints. All right, well, that's doing that. As you can see, it's doing what I need it to do. So I'm gonna have to go get some more gas for the welder. But we're gonna get these pieces cut off. Now we do have to, I'll take you out back to the spare truck, but I do have to I'm gonna take these plates off of here probably, weld them on to the new piece, get these little brackets here. I'm gonna take the good ones that aren't all crusty and rusty like this one. And this one we're gonna have to do something different because this piece is bent, but it's 2 inches. So I'm gonna try to make a different bracket for that on both sides because there's no way I'm putting a curve like that in there. So let's go out to the other truck. I'm probably gonna have to remove some of those. A little foggy here in Georgia today. Misting. So there's our parts truck. Now, what I was talking about with the cab, so I was going to fix this piece of rust here. It was just a little bit of rust. But then I started seeing inside there. And you can see, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's a lot of rust inside and on the top. And I don't feel like messing with it. Plus, you can see light through the back. So what I was going to do is probably just take and cut some sections out of here to fix the red truck. I do have new floor pans for the other truck. Probably going to take the back section and cut this out and put that in the red truck. And this is just going to be my donor cab because the roof is really important to make sure it's not getting all rusty and stuff like that. And I can't see the other one, so I'd rather not do that. But I'm going to get the step side rails off of here because those are in way better shape on this frame. Now this was a 76, but those are a lot cleaner, so we're going to use those off of here. Yeah, I'm going to get those plates off of this bracket here so you guys can I have to move the cab off of here with the tractor, but so zombie weather out here. So yeah. But anyway, the other thing we're going to be doing is I actually haven't decided yet. Again, these things are always changing. So I got side here, the side box of the box. I was going to use this blue one, but after looking at the red one, it looks pretty good, at least for the driver's side. We do have to make some pieces for the inside, so we're going to be probably try to do that today too. This side of the box still has the rails here for the wood, so I could probably just drill the spot welds off of this, and I'm going to try to make some new ones. So I'll get some measurements on that and try to get some pieces made to put that in that. So all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, stay tuned. Once this gets done, we'll get that cut and see how they look and go from there. Again, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Have any ideas? I'm always open to it. One of my other videos, one of the guys saw the tractor in the background and asked me about that, so I sent him a message about that. So stay with me. Almost perfectly even. Almost. They don't have to be. Doesn't matter if they're even or not, as long as they're at least 1.5 inches. And these are 2 inches, so that's done. And of course, that's one of the reasons why I burn through gloves so much, because just abusing them. And yes, my finger hurts. All right, well, there's that. So that's going to conclude this episode. The next episode will probably involve making those brackets, using the old ones, and yeah. So give me a like, a share, follow, and let me know what you think. Catch you guys on the next one.